of a trading day.
Help me out tonight. I'm not totally fired up.
All right, guys. So thank you for joining us. We have very special guests. Obviously, the previous webinar we did with Dan Shapiro here was great. Got great reviews, and we kind of talked about potentially bringing in a heavy hitter that has been at a lot of prop firms, has done a lot of trading in his day, and this is Mayer Offman. And Dan, you and Mayer go back a while, and how about I just, Mayer, why don't you give a brief introduction about, where you've been, what you've done?
So I'm in the prop business. I'm not going to go back to year one when I was born, but we'll move ahead a little. I'm in the prop business since 1991.
Yeah.
So, which is really very early in the prop business. I started out with Schoenfeld Securities. I was there for approximately 2 years. I'm just going to add, I was their top trader, so that's
top trader at Schoenfeld.
Top trader at Schoenfeld. Those 2 years.
That's 2 years.
Okay,
2 years top trader at Schoenfeld. It's hard to be top trader at Schoenfeld.
It wasn't easy, and it was a new field, and people were just exploring and just figuring out how to make some real money there. Then, whatever, we had a nice relationship, but whatever, something came up, and I decided it's time for me to go on my own.
Sure.
And I met a gentleman by the name of Ron Shear, who had been a top market maker on the American Stock Exchange. He even had been partners, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but facts are facts, he had been partners with Izzy England Millennium, who only runs about 23 billion.
Yeah,
okay.
A large
chunk of change. So we became partners. I walked in, there were 2 people sitting there because Ron was more of a on the floor trader, I was more off the floor trader, and we thought it'd be a good deal. Within 6 months we had 50 traders, and we just started becoming one of the premier firms for the next 12 years. We opened 30 offices, probably by the time it was sold, I'm going to give you the ballpark, I'm not sure it's exact, but it's close, 2,500 traders. And so, we really were one of the patriarchs of the prop trading world. We're a little older. I traded myself all the time.
So you're also known as the Rabbi of Wall Street, and you've also had a couple, Bloomberg or Forbes articles that refer to. It was talking about how, like, on that day or that month, you had only made like like $500,000 or something like that, and you were gunning for some giant number.
in those days, $500,000 a month we weren't happy with.
Okay.
Guys, let me just paint a picture really quick for all those in the social media world. Okay, so when I'm sitting behind Mayer, Mayer and Frank, I'm sitting behind these guys. And I turn around, and this is when I'm still trying to take my $2,000 account that I started with 25 grand, and I turn around, and like $140 a day for me was like huge. And I turn around, and you see like $1 million flash on the screen. It's like seeing the Messiah walk into the room and give you a kiss on the forehead. Okay, so just to give you guys an idea of what this is. So if all you guys were playing the $500 million Powerball, every single time I turned around, there was a lottery ticket literally on the screen. So it was, just to give you an idea, it was pretty cool just to see. But then, things got really, pretty decent for myself as well. But yeah, just to paint that little picture for you guys.
So where did it come together where you guys had actually met? At what firm was it? Like, Dan, what were you a fledgling at the time? Like where?
No, it was like I said in the interview, I called up because my buddy was a generic. He blew out in 2 weeks. I interviewed Ron on the phone. He said, "Come in." We had the interview. He asked me why did I think I can make money. I said I had no idea. He hired me. As long as I had 25 grand to put up, what's the difference? You're hired, right? They gave me a deal. I think that the deal back then was like 3 cents a share and 80% payout. I was paying 3 cents a share to trade my own money. And the office where it was the Park Avenue office before we went downtown to the South Street Seaport office. That's where I met Mayer. I met Mayer in the Park Avenue office before we moved to what's the name? The Prudential, downtown the Seaport, the One Seaport Plaza, and then we finally went to 1270 Avenue of the Americas. But that's where I met him, and we literally in that office, in the Park Avenue office. That's where, I mean, I was sitting there literally, it was me, Mayer, Mike Button, right? It was me, you, Neil was there, Neil Schwartz was there. There was like 10 of us. There was like literally like 10 of us. And then next thing I know, you know, because I was in generic for 5 years. Next thing I know, they had like thousands. It's like you had people around you, like like they coming in swarms. I'm like, oh my God. These guys are really doing it. But yeah, I mean, I saw them grow literally, and I grew with them. But you know, I saw them grow literally from like 10 people in the room, and then we had like 3 floors in the Radio City Musical Building. The 12th floor was where Mayer was sitting, and they threw my ass to the 21st floor when I was sitting with Lead.com and David Gellin. I mean, look at these monsters over there. So we had great, awesome group of traders there. But yeah, I mean, it was awesome. It was right from the word go, basically.
So fast forward, and you know, you've been in the industry, Dan, you've been in the industry, and you know, something that we really want to talk about kind of is like how you've seen the prop industry change. You know, a lot of people say that you know, your traditional prop is dying now. You know, like the amount of talent out there is gone, or the markets have changed. Like, what are your thoughts on the overall environment for prop traders? What do they have to be able to do? You know, what are your thoughts on, you know, guys that are coming in fresh? You know, what are you thinking here?
So in those days, you came in and you had 10 ideas that you could jump on. I mean, they just kept on pouring out. You had 300 internet stocks. You had, I'm just estimating, we did tons of them, and they all moved, and they all moved in momentum. You had 50 biotech stocks. They all moved in momentum, which means when they moved, they hardly stopped. So the game was fairly easy. The follow-throughs were very, very consistent. There where you could almost say that you could find a stock and hold it overnight or buy it any time, and 80 or 90% of the time it would go higher if you were long that day. Okay, so that's not a lot of, you know, you didn't really have to have a lot of skill, you didn't have to have a lot of knowledge. You just have to follow the stocks that were strongest momentum, that were talked about on TV, that were written up, and you made money. And because we were taught to trade momentum. I mean, not all of us, but most of us, I think, worked on momentum. Some guys were swing traders, but the momentum game was you bought Yahoo at 200 at night and you sold for 220 the next day. You just did this every day. Amazon. I mean, most of them aren't even around. Go. I don't know what was these stocks at the time. I forgot. You know, with these names, but you bought them and they went up. You know, yep. Just everybody was so hot. It was a fledgling industry. Sure. So in those days, you didn't have to be that particular. You sat next to someone that knew something. You watched TV. You heard my conference call. You heard Dan talk. You had enough to deal with. You're like, you know, we would trade 1 million, 2 million shares a day then. Sure. And even with the commissions, you know, what were you paying? 3 cents, Dan?
Killing it.
I was paying 3 cents, and I was a partner, and I owned the firm.
And you still made it.
And I still was
$30,000 a month in commissions.
In commission, it was like nothing. Oh, you know, so it was a great time. You didn't fight for commissions. The moves weren't. It wasn't like you were making 1% a day. Sure. You were making 10% on 5 stocks a day, 50 in one day. We're talking about. Sure. And so
momentum was easy to spot then, and
that's
it was
right.
easy moving. So nowadays, you know, we've got this thing. We got this chop. We got this chop going on, and we've got a non-bum rushing bull market. You know, so what do traders have to watch out for? What do they need to do in order to adapt? You know, like we want to be able to teach these guys, you know, don't do these things. What do you have to learn?
Okay, so you have to get off the adrenaline junkie attitude, okay, which means you jump at everything. And, you know, since you knew 80% of the time you'd ride, it'd be easy. You really got to have patience. You got to take a little Valium. You got to sit back, look at the market. You can use the same sort of things that happened years ago, except you have only 20 or 30% of those stocks around now to take advantage of. But if you have patience and sit back and just watch those stocks, watch for that event, watch for something that happens that'll cause that crazy momentum. And instead of doing 1 million shares a day at 3 cents a share, you're now going to do, some days you'll do 20,000 shares a day. But that day that you find the former Yahoo, you know, or through Ebola crisis, or you find the LinkedIn, or you find one of these momentum, that's when you set it up and you go. So you don't make money one day, you don't make money 2 days, but the third day you'll make your 10 grand, okay, if you play it right. And the idea is not to get chopped up, because chopped up is very bad for 2 reasons. First of all, you lose money. 2, it frustrates the hell out of you. Pardon my language.
Yeah.
And when you get frustrated, you do stupid things. Yeah. Okay? So the idea is not to do stupid things. You should work in tandems of 2, so you each like fortify each other and say, let's just wait. Let's wait for the old setups. I mean, people can trade different ways. You can be a swing trader, make money too, but why not take the easy route? The easy route, in my opinion, is where you let the market try to help you out. So if you're in the right direction, even if you buy at the wrong price, or you know, by the second time you'll get the right price. So you want to put the market in your favor. Mm-hmm. In our day, until the quants came around, PhDs never made money. Sure. Because they thought they were smarter than the market, and the market humbled them. Now you got a quant area where they can thrive, but they can't thrive in an area where you're telling the market, hey, you don't belong here. Why are you trading like this? I'm smart. I have a PhD from Harvard. Sure. So the idea is let the market tell you, wait for the same sort of setups, find the themes that work, and the other time, you know, whatever, study, eat lunch, you know, I'm a rabbi, I learn Talmud, sure, and just wait. You probably can't make the same money, but you can make a very, very good living just waiting, have patience, be around smart guys. That's what everybody has to do these days.
Sure. Dan, now, you know, we talk about all the time having patience and the psychology of things. You know, what have you seen in traders that's burned them out? I mean, are you seeing weird moves in the markets? Like you're actively knee deep, neck deep in the markets with the rest of your traders, and you see it. Tell us a little bit about like the experience there.
See, I think the way the market's been trading, this is now for the last several years, everything is broken down into intervals. Okay, you have your first 2 hours of the day, and then you have everything else. Okay. The first 2 hours of the day, you're going to get that biggest emotional commitment to the market, okay? If you made money the previous day, you can't wait for the market to open, right? Because they have this crazy mentality, I'm going to jump off the bridge. If I land on anything that's going to help me, it'll be great. You have those people that lost money the previous day. They're going to come out and say, well, I have to redeem myself. I have to find the hot stock. Let me go, let me go, let me go. And then there's a guy like me. I understand every single day is different. I understand that there's intervals in the market. There's the first 2 hours of trading, which the emotional chasers, the guys who are trying to play catch up, or the guys who are trying to get ahead, or guys who just don't know any better, are trying to chase the hot stock. And that's why you're getting the biggest moves, the opening range plays, the second day plays, the red to green plays, the ETF plays. They're giving you the biggest candle on that first initial push, and then for the rest of the day is one big dead zone. So I think what's happening is, when a trader misses its initial move, right? They miss that initial window. Like today, I missed my initial window. I had an opening range play, a VA, that $37 break. It put up an 85-cent candle, like literally in 15 seconds. 15 seconds, I missed it. I missed Netflix today, red to green, only went up $5. I missed it, right? So I had a choice. I could either play catch up with second and third and fourth tier opportunities during a Fed day, or I could say to myself, you know what? Today's not a premium day. I'm not getting any premium hands. I don't have jacks. I don't have kings. I don't have aces. I don't have queens. Tomorrow is a new day. So those are your choices. You could try to catch up and play catch up and get absolutely annihilated, because again, there's so many dead zones throughout the day that it's almost unfair. Or you can say to yourself, you know what? Let me take a step back. Let me see what's going on. Let me find some opportunities for tomorrow. Let me identify the themes, and then we start again tomorrow. Because again, at the end of the day, you'll always catch a premium hand. At the end of the day, doesn't matter. We just don't know if it's going to be today, or it's going to be tomorrow, or it's going to be next Thursday. But you know an easier trade is there. So why are you going to play a 2-9 offsuit if you could get dealt kings, if you could dealt kings, aces? And at that point, that's how things start accumulating. And days like this, you almost say, it's just not worth it. There is no value. Let me take a step back. Let everybody else, run around like chickens without heads, and let's see what's going to happen tomorrow. We're in an uptrending market. I like Apple. I like this one. I like that one. Blah 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 blah. Let's see how it plays out. You got to get your plan. You have to understand what the theme is, capitalize on the theme, and if it's not there, game over. Next day is a new day.
And it's so hard to be able to communicate this to the actual trader, especially the relatively newer guys, because they're coming in, they are adrenaline junkies, and they're just looking for the hot things every single second. They think that if they go find some service out there, somebody's saying that, oh, this is a big mover, I'm going to go boom and go smack that thing around, that they're going to be able to make some money on it. And most likely they're going to get chopped up. And this is something we always try to talk to, is always about, one, being patient, letting the trades come to you, knowing what actual setups to look for these days, because that's actually something that I don't think anybody really teaches out there, actually.
Right.
There are a select few, obviously, we're in a little bunch here, but, it's so surprising to see that, there's still pump and dumpers out there, there's, pity players out there, whatever the hell it is, they're talking like they can make these giant sums of money. And
the reality is, I think Mayer could attest to this, the reality is I've never been in a room full of traders that anybody ever stood up and say, hey, by the way, I made $1 million today. Or I made $10,000. The only place where you see it is social media. In my life, I've never seen somebody come out and say, hey, by the way, I made $1,200 today. Why are you telling me this? What value do I care? Okay, with a father with 2 kids, what do I care that you made money? Okay, how do I make money? What's the process? Show me the way. Show me the way, great one, right? Show me the process. That's what I care about. I don't care about, God bless. You made $1 million today. God bless. Show me the process. And that's unfortunately, and again, it's another topic of conversation for a later date. If the social media euphoria wasn't around, most of these guys couldn't even turn on a computer. Let's be honest. Let's be completely honest here. You see the song and dance here. There are very few traders out there that I speak to that you can tell, they're trading, they're making money, they're making, predominantly the money clicking a mouse. And I think that's where the message that we're trying, and obviously you'll give the folks at home more details about it, but when a real trader is clicking a mouse, okay, every single emphasis is that emotional attachment to the market. Okay, I don't care. We could be as robotic as possible. At the end of the day, we're all human. We all bleed. We all breathe. We all cry. We all laugh. Everything's all the same. We have to figure out how do we get the biggest bang for our buck with the most defined risk. That's it. Everything else is all bells and whistles. If you want to chase Gene from $1 to 10, God bless you. I hope you make all the money in the world.
Sure.
But the reality is that's 1% of everything that's going on. And the worst part about it is a trader will chase a stock from $1 to 6, and they'll make money. And that could be the absolute worst thing that could happen, because what they're doing is they're setting themselves up with such failure they don't even know about it, because all they're doing is chasing and chasing and chasing, and they're creating all these bad habits. And once you lose once, not twice, not 3 times, you lose once, you're down, you're done, you're on tilt. And you lose bad enough like that SGNL the other day that went from $1 to 6, got halted and opened up at 250. You're on tilt, man. Okay, you're on tilt. You can tell the war stories for next year, but you're on tilt. So the reality of trading is there's a reality, and it's a very, very methodical, boring reality. But that's what we want. I don't want any excitement. Okay, I want my day to be very orderly, very boring. I don't want any genes in my life. Okay, I don't want any genes. Leave the genes alone. Okay, I don't want to speak to anybody named Gene. I don't want to wear jeans. Leave Gene alone. Okay, for me to sit there for a stock to go from $1 to 10 to try to make 30 cents out of it is not exactly what I want to do. Okay, so I want my day to be very, very boring, very orderly, but very organic. And once I get that natural order flow, you know which way the wind is going to blow, and you do what you got to do based on your strategies to make it work. And that's what it is. That's all it is. That's all reality.
And this is. It's such a hard thing to communicate, and again, I think this is a really good note to end on here. Obviously, we have additional webinars and a few fun things that we're going to be doing live actually in the near future here. But one thing to understand, guys, everything you're seeing on social media, if there's booms, cabals, and all that type of stuff, and if somebody's saying they're making money every single day, and you get wowed into it, all you have to do is think before you act on these things. Be patient and understand, from market veterans like Mayer and like Dan and like Lucci and the guys that are actually really making money out there, you have to understand that this business is not as sexy as it seems. Okay, it takes a lot of hard work, it takes a lot of dedication, it takes a lot of pain and a lot of learning. You have to really learn how to fish these days, because if you are chasing fish and if you're trying to catch picks, you're going to get burnt out faster than anything else. Dan, really appreciate you having you on here. Mayer, thank you.
It was a pleasure.
Really appreciate it. Again, guys, we have more to come. Just want to give you a little taste. Mayer Offman, Dan Shapiro. Thank you, guys.
Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good night.